They are the restaurants that we cherish and hold a special place in our hearts, where warm and welcoming staff greet us with a smile and make us feel like cherished guests. These are the establishments that whisk us away on a culinary adventure, and no detail is overlooked in offering extraordinary dining experiences. It is where we choose to toast our achievements and celebrate milestones with our loved ones. They are the distinguished restaurants of North America, and every DiRōNA has a story. Chef James Richard, the culinary leader behind Proudfoot Bird, located in the historic Hotel Fort Des Moines in Iowa's capital. Chef James brings a contemporary flair to classic American dishes, blending bold flavors with locally sourced ingredients to create unforgettable dining experiences. Under his direction, Proudfoot Bird has become one of Des Moines' top restaurants, known for its elevated cuisine and sophisticated atmosphere. With a passion for creativity and excellence, Chef James continues to elevate the dining scene in the heart of Iowa. We're here for another episode of Every DiRōNA Has a Story. Another spectacular episode. With me all the way from Des Moines, Iowa, I'm joined by Chef James Richards, who is at Proudfoot Bird. James, Chef, thanks for joining us.
Absolute pleasure, Scott. Thank you for having me today.
So it's a special place. The name has such relevance to the restaurant, and then we're dealing with a historic facility. But let's leave all that for a minute. Let's talk about you. Historic career in the industry. Tell us a little bit about how you became a chef.
Cooking's kind of in my blood. My great-grandfather, he actually owned a restaurant in Red Oak, Iowa called the Green Parrot. So he was first generation immigrant from Greece. Him and my great-grandmother came over. He actually started shining shoes in the bottom of a bank and saved up enough money to open a candy store at first, and then eventually a full-fledged restaurant. Became one of the most well-known restaurants in Red Oak, Iowa. There's a big New York Times piece written on it. So I kind of grew up with that history and backstory. My great aunt helped raise me. She helped, open and work in that restaurant. And she cooked a ton of meals for us, and everything was from scratch with love. She didn't have any recipes. It was all touch, taste, feel. You've got to know what you're looking for. You've got to know what you're tasting for. So just kind of grew up in the kitchens. It gave me a sense of security, sense of purpose. I was born and raised in Ankeny, Iowa, right outside of Des Moines. So started going to culinary school classes actually in high school. Our culinary program out here, it's called the Iowa Culinary Institute. It's at Des Moines Area Community College. They offered a program called Career Advantage. I believe now that maybe morphed into the Pro Start program. But basically, if I had good enough grades as a high school student, I was allowed to head to the college campus and do half my day at culinary school taking college curriculum. So I did that both my junior and senior year. Graduated top of my class. The culinary school has a great exchange program where they take the top 8 students every year and they send them over to France to live and cook in France with a French chef for 3 months. So I went on the French chef exchange, opened my eyes to the world of fine dining, the world of food, and how small we really are as people and how much there is to learn. So I came back to little Des Moines, Iowa after that and said, I've got to go see more, do more, have this great skill set, this great base of knowledge. And Des Moines at the time was still very in its infancy of the fine dining scene that we have today. This was almost 15 years ago. We've come leaps and bounds. But 2009, 2010, there really wasn't much going on here culinarily. So I looked at my chef instructor and I said, where can you send me? She said, Vegas or Chicago? I said, let's go to Vegas. Let's get as far away from home as we can. Let's get uncomfortable. So I moved out to the Las Vegas Strip when I was 19 years old. Started working on the Strip at a restaurant that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, Emeril Lagasse's Delmonico Steakhouse. One of the top steakhouses in the world, just a juggernaut. The average night for us was 750 covers. You get into busy nights, you're doing 1,000 plus covers. So Spent about 3 years as a line cook, then got into the management and training program. Then was offered the opportunity to be sous chef at the Fish House in the MGM Grand. Stayed there for about 3 years, then kind of had hit the gap of where I was going to progress and move forward within my company. Chefs, you either get fired or you're dying, and that's usually not happening. So I chose to help a group of local chefs open their second restaurant off the strip. It's Kim Cantnawa and Elizabeth Blau, a couple James Beard cats. They did the Reading Room in New York City is kind of their most famous project. And I believe they just opened up a hotel in Canada with a whole bunch of restaurants. But I helped them get a fine dining steakhouse called Andiron up and running. Great restaurant. Unfortunately, no longer opened. The Honey Salt is still in the Summerlin neighborhood. If you get an opportunity to go eat a Honey Salt, highly recommend it. So did that for about a year. Then was kicking back home. My wife and I moved to Vegas together. We're from Iowa, and we'd always wanted to go back home and take what we learned and build something special here. We were getting ready to do that, and then my kind of phone rang out of the blue, and it was Emeril Lagasse himself, and he said, "Hey, got an executive chef spot for you, and I think you're the one that can do it." So I flew out to New Orleans and cooked for him and his executive committee, and then wound up taking over Table 10 at the Palazzo in 2015. Basically, long story short, they'd opened that restaurant at the beginning of the housing bubble. Never gained traction, was never a profitable restaurant. They told me this up front, and they said, "Hey, this is why we're kind of looking at you for this. If you could change it around, you'll be a hero, you'll be a legend. And if you can't, we know you were heading back home to Iowa eventually. Be a good transition for you." So I said, while we're out here, let's do this. Let's give it a shot. So took over Table 10 at the age of 24. I was the youngest executive chef on the Las Vegas Strip at the time, and the youngest executive chef that Emeril's ever put in that position. And in our first year, we actually gave it its first profitable year ever. Turned it around, gave it some black numbers. Somehow the Las Vegas food scene kind of got word of what we were doing, and all of a sudden we had a food writer out every week, and talking about the food we were cooking, and got a lot of buzz, a lot of traction. I was even fortunate enough to film an episode of Chopped while I was out living in Las Vegas. So the episode's called Wild Game Plan. Look it up; it's a hoot. I took runner-up. There's some controversy whether or not I should have taken first place, but hopefully there'll be another time to rehash that competition out. The gentleman and I that were in the final round, we're still great friends to this day. We still communicate daily. But yeah, I was doing great things at Table 10, and then unfortunately, Palazzo decided they wanted to do renovations. And the first move they did was take the escalator out that ran from the casino floor to our front doors, and that was basically the nail in the coffin for us. So I got to close a Las Vegas Strip restaurant, which was a very surreal moment. Rolling the tables out and rolling onto the Las Vegas Strip, it kind of opened your eyes like, oh man, this must have just been absolute chaos getting this place open. So moved back to Iowa late 2018, bounced around, tried to find a home. COVID hit, and of course that threw everyone a loop. I took over a pretty famous country club here called Wakanda Club. Really turned around their food and beverage program. Was very content there. Was ready to probably just say, hey, this is where I'll be. And then I got a phone call from a really good buddy of mine that said that Proudfoot needed a chef and I should come check it out. Growing up, my memories of Hotel Fort Des Moines were of before the renovation that you see today. Definitely wasn't the place that you wanted to open a fine dining restaurant in, if we put it that way. So I was very hectic, very hesitant, and very skeptical walking into this opportunity. I said, hey, this probably isn't for me, but maybe I know a buddy of mine that can go, check this out and take this on. Walked through the front doors, saw the renovation and remodel that happened. My jaw about hit the floor, and I said, I need to give this one a shot. So I've been here about 2 years now, and we've completely overhauled the staff. When I started, we had 4 full-time employees in the kitchen. We're now up to over 36 full-time employees. We're cranking banquets and catering. I always say, I love Proudfoot Bird, but I'm not just the executive chef of Proudfoot Bird. I also oversee all the banquet and catering aspects of the hotel. And we have another casual dining outlet that we oversee as well that's open for breakfast and lunch and soon to be dinner here, hopefully. So little bit of my history and background. We've kind of transplanted back home, and I think now we finally have a stage in Des Moines where we can highlight the food that we're growing. Right, we're growing the best food in the world. We have the best soil in the world, and we're not celebrating that here in Iowa. Now I think we finally have a stage that's been built to where we can really, really celebrate what we have, and hopefully start gaining some culinary accolades and recognition to what we're doing. And we're started here, and hopefully there's even more to come.
Exceptional. 24 years of age and an executive chef on the Las Vegas Strip. That must have been quite an experience. Tell us a little bit about there in Des Moines, and we're going to go deep into the restaurant, but tell us about the building you're in. I mean, the Hotel Fort Des Moines is renowned. Tell us about the history and a little bit about the background of the building.
Yeah, definitely the most iconic hotel downtown. Built in 1919. It's now over 100 years old. It's been through 6 renovations and remodels in its lifetime. But the hotel is steeped in Des Moines tradition and history of being the hotel of where the Who stays. So we've had tons of famous guests stay here. Elvis has stayed here, Cher, Marilyn Monroe, slew of presidents. We recently had Jason Momoa in for his vodka launch party. Basically, if you're rolling through Iowa and you have some prestige, you're staying at the Hotel Fort Des Moines. Also steeped in history and tradition. One of the largest Prohibition era police raids happened at the hotel. Very, very famous article. They believed it was linked to Al Capone, but that's one of the most notable things that's happened as well. But it is just ingrained in the history of Des Moines of being the basically cultural icon of the city.
So the restaurant there and Proudfoot Bird is named after the architects, am I right?
That is correct. The original architects of the Hotel Fort Des Moines were Proudfoot Bird. They have a couple other projects around town, but this is definitely their most notable.
So what did you bring from Las Vegas culinary-wise to the restaurant, or did you maintain its menu that was there?
Yeah, so I took over the food operations about a year after the hotel had reopened. Um, the direction that was given to me was, we want this to be a restaurant that you don't know that you're in Des Moines, Iowa, where you could transport yourself to somewhere else. This could be at a restaurant in New York or Chicago or Las Vegas. So definitely what I brought to the table was still being familiar and approachable to the average day guest of comfort and hospitality, but then treating some of those dishes and ingredients with finesse and techniques that you would only get to see or experience in large scale cities. So we've done a really, really great job with the menu of taking maybe some comfort food classics and giving them a really modern, elevated twist to just make you go, huh, that was an experience. That was special.
Now, taking staff full-time from 4 to 36, I'm sure your exceptional background, you must have really, they've all probably felt that you've increased their knowledge and abilities by bringing your expertise from Las Vegas and the other renowned restaurants to them. They must be sharing in this opportunity with you to really elevate their game in Des Moines as well, I assume.
Yeah, that's one of my kind of fundamentals I stick to every day. If you're not learning something new every day, you're not living life. So I've actually had a lot of staff that I've been fortunate enough that have worked with me at past jobs that found out I was coming here and said, I want to come work for you again. Sign me up right now. Let's go. I'm watching individuals who maybe started working for me at 18, 19 years of age now, who've worked with me for 4 or 5 years, that are taking on management positions, that are learning how to be the next generations of chefs, right? It can't stop with me. The next generation has to know what I know in order so that the generation following them can keep fine dining and keep a culture of food alive. So it's all about shared education and experiences. I am one person. This place does not operate because I am here. It operates because the staff we've built.
Right. Now, a landmark hotel like that and with celebrities staying there, there must be a high expectation for whether it's crafted cocktails, but certainly the wine list. Is there a real expectation for the patrons of the hotel and the restaurant for what they're expecting from a wine list? And how do you sort of curate it to them?
Yeah, so absolutely. Not only is the food elevated, but our beverage offerings are extremely elevated as well. tying on to the history of this of the speakeasy raid back in the 1920s. We've actually reopened a speakeasy called In Confidence in the Hotel. It's open Thursday through Saturday, and it is swanky cocktails only. You've got to know how to get in there, and you've got to get led down there, and then you're just transported to this beautiful Alice in Wonderland inspired speakeasy. Where there's no stop to the imagination of the cocktails. You walk down there, there's smoke, there's mirrors, it's the whole 9 yards. So if you get an opportunity to make it down to the speakeasy, highly recommend that. That's been led by our director of food and beverage, Sean Wilson. He's a James Beard Award nominee. He owned a restaurant here in Iowa for many years called Proof. So he's taken over the food and beverage operations and really done a great job down at the speakeasy. And he's been helping curate the wine list as well. We've won the Wine Spectator Award now, I believe, 3 years in a row. If not three, it's for sure 2 years in a row. So one of, I believe, 6 restaurants in the Des Moines metropolitan area that has earned that Wine Spectator Award. Obviously, we've got wines from all over the world, but we take a good look at the list right now. And we have a wonderful young woman. Her name is Gretchen Lagerblade. She is also a graduate of the Iowa Culinary Institutes. Came through a few years after me, but she is definitely the one taking over the wine program right now. Definitely interested in being a sommelier one day. It is awesome to watch her grow and run with that program. You talk about someone that's learning something new every day. Come talk to Gretchen about our wine list, and you will be transported to anywhere in the world you imagine. And there will be a story paired with each one of those wines. It's a true special moment to get wine from Gretchen.
So we were thrilled last year. It was a nomination that came through to us for a patron of Proudfoot Bird. First DiRōNA awarded restaurant, I believe, in downtown Des Moines. Were you shocked when you received the DiRōNA, and you're saying it grew to now 3 years with the Wine Spectator? Was there must have been excitement behind the DiRōNA award coming into the building, I assume?
Yeah, I've always been one that says, hey, it'd be really nice to win some awards and accolades and get recognized for some of these really cool things we're doing. Obviously, your eyes are kind of in the moon and the stars, and you've got to be humble enough to say if what we're doing is warranted, it'll happen, right? So that's always one thing I keep it in the back of my mind, but I'm always every day going, nah, we just have to provide the experience. And if what we're doing on a day in, day out basis is warranted of that, someone will take notice. So I believe there's only one other restaurant in the Des Moines metro area that has a DiRōNA, and that would be Splash. But they've been open, I believe, since 1989. So they were the first, but there has yet to be another award recipient until Proudfoot Bird. So yeah, our corporate just kind of sent it over and said, hey, you should apply for this, see what happens. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I've applied for plenty of other things and heard nothing. And within a week, we got the email back saying, yeah, you guys are in. We need to come check you guys out. So it was a shock. And to hang that plaque in the dining room, it's special. It's special for us. It's validation that the 12, 14, 16-hour days we're putting in, there's a reason why we're putting those days in. So to say that it reignited a little bit of passion in me, absolutely.
Always wonderful for us to hear those stories. And a special connection to Emeril, who our founder, if you take things all the way back to DiRōNA was originally the Holiday Award, was created by Ella Brennan, Commander's Palace back in 1953. So a wonderful connection there with Emeril, and he has been a great supporter of DiRōNA all the way through from Holiday to its transition in 1990 to DiRōNA as well. So it's always great for us to hear those stories and those connections.
Yeah, well, if you run into him, tell him hi for me. It's been a long time since I've seen him, but he's still going strong.
Well, James, it's been spectacular to learn more about the restaurant and your background. And I know you're still young. We can't wait to see what you continue to do at Proudfoot Bird, and for the balance of your career. You're off to an exceptional start.
Scott, we appreciate you so much, and we'd love to do anything we can to help spread the word about the DiRōNA and keep making America a better place to eat.
Wonderful. Well, everyone, I've been joined by Chef James Richards. He's at Proudfoot Bird there in Des Moines, Iowa. And again, if you have a chance to visit, not only is it a special restaurant, it's in a special building as well. So thank you for joining us for another episode. We'll see you again soon.